Welcome to Whatcha Makin, a podcast about sharing ideas and connecting with the maker community. Your hosts are Alex Adams of Type A Furniture and Alex Duffey of Duffey Woodcraft. Whatcha Makin is proudly sponsored by Nextwave CNC.
What you making in the shop today? Yeah. Got a couple Alex's to show you the way. From the blueprints to the shavings on the floor. Pull up a stool, let's see what's in store.
Welcome to Whatcha Makin, a podcast where we talk all about what's on our bench, spotlight makers throughout the community, and remind you that today, July 1st, is National Ice Cream Day. And remember, calories don't count today because ice cream is technically a liquid once it melts in your mouth. That's science. Tonight's main topic is selling, no, that's not selling on Etsy. It's about CNC side hustles with a special guest. We'll talk about them in just a moment, but I'm Alex Duffey, and you can find me on Instagram and at YouTube at Duffey Woodcraft.
And I am Alex Adams over at Type A Furniture on Instagram. And you can sell CNC stuff on Etsy. That's permitted, right?
Well, it is. That was just our topic from last week, and I missed that in my note update. So, yeah. But you can sell stuff, and we'll talk about that a little bit, but how it's, as our guest likes to say, a race to the bottom. Yes. But, Alex, you know who's not a race to the bottom?
I mean, it could be with our patrons if they're at the right tier.
Could be.
And you can go over to patreon.com/whatchamakinshow to find those tiers and select the one that will get you to the bottom.
And Whatcha Makin is proudly sponsored by Nextwave CNC. If you're looking for the best CNC on the market today, look no further than a Shark CNC from Nextwave. Hey, and do you need an extra $500? And can you make fun projects on your CNC? If so, Nextwave is looking for makers just like you. Message them on Instagram with your project and learn how you can teach the project of the month and get highlighted across all the Nextwave channels and earn yourself an extra $500.
You.
All right. Well, tonight's guest is the OG of CNC woodworking on YouTube with over 500 published videos, multiple online courses and communities, and the reason I have a CNC today. Please help me welcome Andy Bird.
Oh, well, everybody's heard about the bird. Bird.
Welcome to the show, Andy.
Hey, everyone. Hey, thanks for having me. So... appreciate that. That sound, though. Oof. So we had one thing at our wedding that the DJ was not allowed to play, no matter who requested it, and it was that song.
Yeah, I bet.
Did they hold
I'm
their
sure
promise?
It's the song that you.
Yeah, we told him he would not get paid if he played it.
That's fair. I can't remember if they actually played the Addams Family at our wedding reception or not. I can't remember if someone ended up doing that.
I did. Our guy definitely did play a Duff Beer commercial at ours. So, yeah.
I was gonna say that's the only one I can think of that would fit with yours, which, it does.
So you gotta have that leverage.
Anyways, yeah. So for people who don't know you, can you give us a little bit about yourself, Andy?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Andy. I bought my first CNC in 2018. Maybe like 2017, but 2018 was the first year I remember. And I bought it to make money. That's kind of my, I guess, passion. I definitely have an entrepreneurial spirit. I grew up in a family of small business owners. And so this wasn't my first business venture. It was kind of like, like I had that background and I pulled in CNC. So, but I started CNC with zero experience. I actually went to college to learn how to grow grass.
Really? What kind of grass?
I was waiting for that because that's always the answer. No, so turf grass. So athletic fields, sports stadiums, that type of thing. Very unique.
Like one other person that I know, I think that went there for like the turf management, and I was just like, that is a very unique, but also like I'm pretty sure it's a highly like sought after skill set that's needed.
Yeah. What I tell everybody, not to get off topic too much about my old career, but what I tell everybody, like a MLB owner isn't going to pay, back in the day when I still did it, A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez, $30 million at shortstop to play on a poor surface, with a chance of injury or anything like that. So yeah, it is a very specialized skill set, but there's people that take care of baseball fields all day long. So,
First,
go for it.
I was going to say real quick, my first non-service job was as I was a golf course maintenance supply delivery driver. So I delivered all of those chemicals to basically your counterpart on the golf course. Uh-huh.
Okay, so I was the one that used all of those chemicals. So I've worked a little bit in golf, but mostly sports. So, yep.
Nice.
Good chemicals. We don't spray bad chemicals, by the way. I don't want everybody to think I'm out there killing the world, but, conversation for a different day. So CNC entered in 2018. I worked my day job in turf management until 2020 in COVID. And June 5th of 2020, I launched into the abyss of going, making and selling things full time. And I actually posted my first YouTube video in February of 2020 after meeting a good friend of mine now, Bob from I Like to Make Stuff. We talk about the OG, like one of the OG makers. Like he was on YouTube in 2012, and he happens to live in the same town as me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so I'm on YouTube, not because he told me to, but through his inspiration. And yeah, so for a long time, making products and YouTube competed with each other. Alex Duffey, something about that. And slowly, I still make commissions. I still, up until 2 years ago, did craft fairs. But then I have a 2 and a 5-year-old now. So craft fairs went out the window. And so primarily what I do today is make content and make resources for the CNC community. One, to teach CNC, because it is a steep learning curve, how to operate a CNC, how to run a CNC. And then two, how to make and sell products and break into the business world of making and selling things. So I do that through several different products, courses, and the newest one that I can talk about is the one that Alex Duffey is a coach in, community coach, is the Alex. I renamed it without telling anybody. It was just the CNC membership. I was like, that's lame. Okay. It's about we're about 5 months in. So it's the CNC Moneymaker membership. So that's what I'm calling it.
Can the cover of that be Duffey twerking?
Oh, yes.
No, absolutely not.
Shake your moneymaker, right?
He wants to sell these, not scare people away.
I mean, maybe we can charge double. I don't know. But everything that I do can be found on andybirdbuilds.com. So that's kind of the hub for everything. So if you're interested in the story I just told, to the products I offer, to my YouTube channel, to my other social media, everything is at andybirdbuilds.com. So, yeah.
And where can I find the button? There it is.
What you doing?
All right. So moving into our Whatcha Makin section. So this week for me in the shop, so my new CNC is complete. I finished that this past weekend. So the modified version of the 644 is up and running. It's the Next Wave Shark 644. And I say modified version because that version is normally a 4x4. This is actually a 4x3. It's a 4x2-ish with a little extra. It's a machine that I worked with them specifically on, and so I'm excited to play around with in the shop. But yeah, I got it all set up. I got the spoil board done. I got it trammed, which was a new experience for me because if you know much about normal Next Waves, the the HD 520 and 620, you don't need to do much tramming with. It's very rigid, and so there really isn't much to do. And this is the 644 is a rail system, which needs tramming, just like any of the rail systems. And yeah, so that was a whole new experience for me, and I hate it. I hate every moment of it.
So did you also mod it to play Doom as well?
No, not yet. But yeah, no, it was a thing, and I decided I'm building my own custom work holding solution for it too, instead of just putting down MDF and calling it good. I am using the spoil board kit that Next Wave uses, which is a segmented one for their 520. But I'm then adding T-track in between each one of those segments. So I'm using threaded inserts into the base of the table for the T-track. And so it was just a lot of extra work, and then having to get all that square and plumb at the same time to the CNC was a lot. So I have a video for it. It's now in the can, so now I have to edit it. But yeah, so that'll be coming out here soon. But it's been a fun experience. I love setting up a new CNC. It's something new to learn and play with.
I'm glad there's one of us. I hate setting up CNCs.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, so I have this thing where if someone else wrote the instructions to assemble it, no, I'm not doing it. IKEA furniture, CNCs, they're in the same box, the same thing for me. I just want to run the machine. So I'm going to call you, Duffey, next time I need one set up.
That's fine with me. I definitely have notes for the instruction writer that I'm going to pass on, because there are a few things I'm like, this needs to be more clear. Or my favorite was somebody had in one of the instructions, mind you, this isn't a released instruction booklet yet. It's a prototype one. It had a lovely just placeholder insert link here, and I was like, need to catch that. But yeah, so that was fun. And then as I talked about on the last week's show, I signed a new contract with the Columbia River Gorge Museum here in Portland. And so I'm making all of the gifts for their gift shop for some of their wooden stuff. So their bookmarks, keychains, magnets, earrings, and so on. So all of those are in production now here in my shop. I was doing some math yesterday. I went to the store to buy a bunch of exotic wood that I don't usually stock in my shop. So I got zebra wood, bloodwood, purple heart, and padauk, which I usually work with only domestics. But for the bookmarks, I use those because it adds some color and different, and it looks really nice. But I spent $400 on that, and I equaled it out in the math. By the end of it, it'll end up being about $14,000 in bookmarks. From all the amount of, because I can get about 2,000 bookmarks from the $400 of wood, and then 2,000 times $7 a piece. It's a lot of bookmarks, but they fly off the shelves pretty regularly, so they're one of my high sellers. So,
but it was the most I've done at one point. So they stay on the table.
Some people have suggested that. I like them to be free range, so just let them go.
Or charge more if you have a flying bookmark,
too, right?
Yeah. I should charge more. I should, if they fly, it's $10. If it's $7, if they stay on the table, it's
an
$7.
extra feature.
Yeah. Yep. So, anyways, that's been my shop this week. So, getting busier after my time off, and now I have a lot of little things I'm making. Andy, what about you? Anything going on in your shop this week?
Ooh, I'm in one of those times where I'm in a lot of planning stages. So one of the projects that's in process, planning, designing, I've wanted to build my son a boat for a long time. Ooh. And think the dimensions are like 3x6 made out of ply. All the panels are CNC cut. And then I've never done fiberglass. But Total Boat sent me all the materials to make a boat as far as epoxy and fiberglass and all of that. So that's fillets. I think fillets are something that I'm going to have to learn in the corners. But where I'm stuck right now, I'm stuck in the design. Like I have it written out on paper. Like I've done dimensions on paper and kind of, the old architect way, but actually making I am not a Fusion 360 expert. And that's not something that you can design in Vectric. So that's where I'm currently at. I'm trying to figure out the best angle for the CAD aspect. So that's one project.
Are you gonna? Is the boat like just? Are you just making a boat, or is it gonna have some like fantasy or theme elements to it for your son?
No, it's going to be. It's going to be. I think the technical title is like a runabout. So just think of like a normal like sport boat, no theme. It's just going to have a bench seat in it. It's going to be painted blue, and it's going to have an electric motor and a steering wheel. So like he can drive this thing around is my goal. It's a huge undertaking, and I'm crazy for trying. It'll be a video on YouTube, obviously, but I think the title is "Will It Float?" I think that's a good title.
That's a great title.
Because I don't know.
Well, and if it doesn't end up floating, then it can just be like a pirate treasure hunt, and you can intentionally sink it. Just like I meant to do that.
There you go.
Surprise! You get snorkeling lessons now.
Exactly. You got to learn how to scuba.
A real boat comes in and like launches rocks at it. It's like, and it has like pirate. It puts up a hole in the hull, even though it didn't float anyways, and then it sinks to the bottom. We can make a whole scene out of this. I like that idea.
So I have to say, I know you already have an Avid, so you need to work with Avid to get them to send you their 5-axis CNC, and then you can make the Going Merry head, and then you can make a Going Merry boat.
That would be crazy, wouldn't it?
That would be fun.
I had thought about getting a 5-axis or a 5th axis, along with the other 100 things that I want to do. Right. Another thing that we're working on is another planning a video, or actually planning a series. And it's called Will It CNC? So we're still in the planning stages of that, but so ask you guys, have you ever had something pop in your mind and being like, I wonder if I can cut that? Or I wonder if I can make something out of that, like something non-traditional.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking like the starting material or like the actual like end product, non-traditional?
Well, so for example, this is just an example I've been throwing around. Like, can I CNC a pool noodle?
Right. I was going to say my Halloween video this year is, can I CNC a pumpkin?
Yeah. There you go.
It's going to be messy.
I went through this list today, actually, and I created, it's like 50 things long. So some of the kind of tame ones are, let's say, like a slate tile. Just go get a slate tile and see if I can machine it or figure out how to machine it. 2, some more exotic ones like a mannequin.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I don't know what I would make out of it. A bar of soap, a 3D printed block. So 3D solid block of a material. Can I machine that? A frying pan. So right. Even to some more crazy ones like bone.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
A little scrimshaw.
Yeah.
So I know the next question is like, okay, Andy, why would you be doing this? Like, What are you going to actually make out of these things? And it's more, that's more for the, like we're designing this, that's more for the audience
Mm-hmm.
to figure out. And we're just like, is this possible? Can it be done with what bits, what feeds and speeds, and starting that conversation to kind of push the boundaries of traditional materials. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but yeah. So that's what I've been working on or
Nice.
making.
Love it. Exactly. Alex, what about you?
I've continued to work on the walnut dining table frame. I can't remember where did I leave you off last time? Did I
don't know,
have the
man. It's
legs
been
made?
6 weeks. You've been working on this thing for 6 weeks. I don't know where we left off.
Yeah. So anyway, I have the table legs are, what was the measurement of that? I think it's like 3 1/8 by 3 1/8 are the sizes
Mhm.
on that, because I had to cut them out of the like thick material. And for Andy, real quick, so this is made from my neighbor's tree, and it's a dining table for the neighbor. So this is all stuff that I've milled and dried.
Oh, very
and
cool.
we're getting to the finish line here. So anyway, I started off with these really thick, chunky pieces and rough cut, put them through the jointer and then the planer, and then cut through these. But since that depth is deeper than my track saw, I only cut part way and then came through with the bandsaw to cut those clean. And then
Yeah, you told us that last week. I remember that.
So I flush trimmed the that little bit of extra stuff that was left over from the bandsaw, and then got those squared up and then to length. So yeah, I couldn't remember if I had mentioned the trimming up that portion. But anyway, I milled up the material for the actual apron pieces. So there's a little bit of like material selection because I had to pull from some other walnut stock that I had to supplement what we already had for materials. So a little bit of material selection to try and get it to actually match so it looks like it's supposed to be there, and not just like, oh, this is a random board that looks twice as dark as the other ones, or something like that.
Right.
So there's a little bit of material selection there. So those ones I'm still working on because it's all down to thickness and everything. I've got the like rough, like, okay, this is what I want to cut out of it, but I still need to make those cuts and figure out like, there's voids and cracks all over the place. So it's like, all right, navigating around those. And sometimes once you cut into it, then it's like, oh yeah, I can use this piece, or like, nope, I got to fill this void, or it's so much that I can't use this piece. But in most cases, I should be able to use it. It's just a question of how much time is spent filling those voids. And then I'm just about to finish the table leaves as well. So those are almost done. So I absolutely hate sanding the end grain that are on the edges of these. It's so annoying, mainly because I've got the edge sander, the little Festool 5-inch that has that attachment, that's specifically why I have that particular sander is for edge sanding. But it's so crappy with the edge sanding is because you have to sand so much to get it, or with that, not edge sanding, end grain sanding, that you're likely to get like not a flat surface at the end because it's not even, and so you get a little bit of a wiggle in there. So trying to stay on top of that to make sure that it actually stays straight. So that was annoying, but I'm pretty much done with that portion of it. And then it's dominoes for alignment, and then I'll be screwing together the base when we assemble it on site. So yeah, that's the kind of where the things sit as of right now for the dining table. And then on the 3D print side, just restocking a lot of the stuff that I've been selling at the farmer's market and the swim meets. A lot of animals still, but I'm kind of getting a little bit more into 4th of July stuff, themed as well. And then I have some, because I think I had mentioned that I signed up for the 4th of July market that's in a nearby town that's a big event. And so since there's a car show there, I'm doing a little bit more car specific stuff, because I already have some like car keychains. But I was going to lean into that even more than just the keychains and the hitch covers. And also I'm going to see if I can get a few different license plate covers made, as well as what was the other thing? They're little like keychain wall hangers where it's like either the front or the back end of like a classic car or something like that. So I want to get a few of those ready for that as well. And yeah, I think that's kind of mostly what I've been making here recently.
Andy, for you, Alex has created an interesting market for himself, and this is actually good for the coaching. Alex has decided that because he's a parent at these swim meets and that he is bored because his son is performing at these swim meets, he might as well make some money while he's there. So he just sets up a booth and starts selling his 3D printed items to these kids. No official like allowance or anything for it. He just sets up his booth and starts selling.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's like, awesome. I got a captive audience. I'm going to be here. I might as well make some money off of it. So
that's awesome.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun. The kids are always excited to come by and play with stuff. So like half the time the kids are just playing at the booth, and that's a lot of fun just to see them have fun. So
yeah, that's cool. I actually 3D printed something today. 3 trash cans for my son, who was ecstatic about them. Like, they're just like small. So last week I printed him some trash bags, some small like bags of trash he could play in his vehicles. Well, this morning he's like, Dad, I need a trash can to put them in. So I went out and made three trash cans. In about 2:00 this afternoon, he was like, he came out and got them. He was so excited that they had lids. Like, they actually had lids, and he could put his trash in there. Yeah, so
yeah,
I get it.
My son has been into the. Have you seen the little mini buckets that they sell at like Menards and Tractor Supply and whatever? They're like the size of like a glass of water or whatever. My son has been obsessed with having those, and he, oddly enough, because I told him, because Luke in the Garage made the small buckets for the 3D print. And I told him about those, and he wasn't like, my son wasn't super interested in like 3D printing some. I think the allure is the like little like brand name on the side. Plus his grandma gets him a bunch anyway, so gives Nana something to do.
I really want one of those mini 5-gallon buckets like you're talking about. Every time I go to Home Depot or Lowe's, they're sold out of them. So I don't think they're super popular around here, because I want one just for like my drinking cup that I can be like, haha, I've got a 5-gallon bucket, and make funny coffee jokes about it. But
yeah. Oh, also I, cause we talked on the last episode that I had the broken, air duster thing, and I did 3D print replacement nozzles, and they work perfect. So those turned out
Alex
well.
is talking about he broke this air duster, and he's just gonna get rid of it.
I was gluing it back together with like super glue and everything. We'll see.
Yeah, and we're like, dude, you have a 3D printer. You have a business around this. Just print one. And he's like, well, I can't do it. And literally on the show, in 5 seconds, he finds it. Oh, look, it's right there. And then about an hour after the show, I get a text with a photo of the thing finished printing.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. Yeah, like, can I 3D print one of these? It's like a Lego piece that my wife tried to glue back together. You can see there's supposed to be 2 knobs.
You absolutely can.
Yeah, I
can't design that.
No, you can. No, look. You can. So there's.
If it's a real Lego piece, there's a model out there for it already.
Yeah. So I found, this was after school got out for my son. I found it's a Millennium Falcon set, and they have all of the individual pieces. So I know that guy's page, like he posts full kits, but he also has like individual pieces that you can just find.
So I need to figure out what this is from.
Yeah, so you might be able to find the piece pretty easy. the main thing is making sure that you've got a clean build plate, because they have such little surface area when they print that they're just really susceptible to popping off as they're printing. So
cool.
It's kind of like,
do you have an
when
Android
do
or an iPhone?
What?
Me?
Andy.
I have an Android.
Good. Take a photo with Google Photos, and then do the image search, and then type, add that as an image, and then do 3D model or something, and I'm sure you'll find it. I love the reverse image search. It's the best thing Google ever did.
Yeah, the Lego pieces, they're decent. They're kind of, when they come out printed, they're kind of like the cheap imitation Lego pieces where it's like they fit together but not like super snug like the true Lego piece.
Right, they're not molded, but they're fine.
Yeah, they're adequate.
Anyways, on that note,
Help is on the way, dear!
so what's your break-in section? So what didn't go right in the shop this week? Alex, what didn't go right in your shop?
Do you want me to start with the really bad stuff, or do you want me to lead up to that?
No, I want the bad stuff first. Let's do it. Rip that
All
Band-Aid.
right, so I brought it in for show and tell. So my track saw the TS-75, which I use a bunch. As I was cutting the stuff for those aprons, I set it on the... So after I had made the cut, I set the saw on the board and turned around to do whatever, and then it completely fell off because it was like the board was slightly on edge, so it had enough to have space underneath the cut, and so the saw went directly onto the concrete ground, so it like went and like hit that way, like the saw blade side. So what do you think broke on this in particular? Anything? I'll make you guess.
From a simple fall?
Yeah, on a concrete.
Do you know how many times my sander has fell on this concrete? I don't know. The power button. I'm gonna guess the power button.
No, the dust connector.
No, I would have preferred either of those because those probably would have been easy to fix. So let me see if I can get a good angle of it. Let's see. So right around. Let's see. Wait.
This is the weirdest angle.
Wait, right there. So that is the depth stop right there. So I have JB welded that thing back on. So on the track saws, when they go down, they hit the little depth marker, and they make contact with that. So they go down. Let me hit. So they go down, and that thing touches, like right there. It presses on it. So without that there, you can't do you can't use the depth stop on it. So it came clean off. Well, it broke off. Like it was bent, and there was a crack in there because it was, I think, because I Googled it, and I think it's some magnesium alloy, so it's strong, but it's brittle. So I would have preferred something that would have bent. So I don't know how the hell I got that piece to break, because it's like behind the saw stuff and everything.
Question.
Yes.
Do you leave that saw outside in the garage?
No, I only brought it into the garage with me specifically to show you. Okay,
there goes my theory. I was like, if the heat, hot, cold from your summer and winter there could have, damaged the metal over time.
How dare you say that I abuse my tools? They live...
You do.
They live a very lavish life. They get treated very, very well.
It depends which shop they're in. If they're in your basement shop, they're fine. If they're in your garage shop, those things are hurting.
Yeah. So anyway, so I put JB Weld on it, and I haven't used it since, but that is a piece where it's you're actually pressing on it, so it should be fine, because I did need to use it directly after it had broken, no, I didn't. I just did some test cuts to be okay, what is even functional on this thing? Because I don't know if the arbor is bent or any other stuff. It seemed to be fine. It was kind of hard to tell, and I don't know if I damaged the blade that was in there, which is not a big deal because that's my kind of crappy blade anyway, because that was my one blade where I was cutting and I went over the edge, and because the track was kind of like bent and wobbling a little bit, like it dabbled down and touched the concrete and kissed it and made a few sparks. So that blade is kind of, it's my kind of crappy blade anyway. So I'm not going to be heartbroken if that is the end of that particular blade's life. But so I like mulled over like, okay, like what are like the pros and cons of still using this saw? Because the track saw is like, since I don't really use a table saw, it's like a big portion of my shop when it comes to the cutting operations. So I just decided to order a new replacement version of it, which is pretty much exactly the same. So my logic behind it there is like, okay, I'll use this one for like my, like a little bit like rougher breakdown stuff, or I'm doing stuff that's like outside the shop, use that one. So then if something does happen to it, I'm not heartbroken. And I still have another saw that does the like actual breakdown of everything normally how I would, because I do use it for more precision applications when I'm final cutting passes on whatever boards and whatnot. Because if it was just like, if I was only using it more like a circular saw where it's like more the rough cuts, like I really wouldn't care, but I use it for much more precise operations. So that's when like, if there is a bend in the arbor or something like that, it becomes much more of an issue for the precision of the cuts and everything like that. Because I use that as like my jointed third face surface as well, because my jointers are like, they're good on one face, but the fence on those is kind of crappy, so I don't really trust it to hold it true for the second jointed face. So yeah, that was the worst thing.
Saw.
What?
Since you bought the new saw, did you go with the wireless or the wired version?
Wired, because I don't think they have the battery powered version in that size, because I don't think there's a TS75 battery powered. I wouldn't want it anyway, just because you get more power out of the wired ones anyway. And I'm like, as you heard earlier with like cutting the table legs, like I make use of the full depth. Like there's a reason why I have the TS75, which is the deepest cut that they offer. So
nice.
So yeah, because I kind of debated on what to do with it, but that's kind of what I settled on in short.
Tim Allen popped in my head. More power.
You know it. Yeah, get a Binford version of it with a V8 on the side. So yeah, that was like the worst thing. The next one was more of a 3D print one where I kept on getting this spool feed in error, like it couldn't pull the filament in, so I like fully disassembled the print head, because sometimes you get a broken off filament piece in there, and I had one recently do that in the last couple of weeks. And I just could not figure out what was wrong. And then I don't remember what it was, but then I looked and I saw that when I had put the replacement spool on there, I had missed one of the straps that was on the spool. So it was like it was pulling on that strap and it just couldn't pull it through. I was like, oh my gosh, I went through disassembling the print head and trying to diagnose that without checking that. So that made me feel really dumb. And then I'd gotten a new tent for markets. And one of the whole reasons that I had gotten it is because it has this little like front awning. It also has like the sidewalls as well to block the sun, keep stuff a little bit cooler, which is nice. But I really wanted that awning so that if you have something that's like the sun is kind of in the front portion of the tent, you get a little bit of shade over your table. And I looked up, down, and sideways, and I could not find the little poles that you're attaching to the tent in order to hold up that little awning. So I need to call the place, because I just want them to send me the individual parts, because I don't want to do the thing where they send me like a whole replacement of everything, because I did get it through Amazon, so I have that option. It's just like, I just don't want to deal with shipping the whole thing. Like I just want the parts. It's like I like the rest of it. Like I don't want to return the thing. Like it works good. I don't need to go through the process of shipping that huge thing. So yeah, that's what's been breaking and broken in my shop.
Andy, what about you? Anything bad going in the shop this week?
Oh,
Did you drop a CNC?
I did not drop a CNC. So this one happened a couple weeks ago, but it's where I used some cheap epoxy to do this. Okay, so I was making the serving board, and I V carved, a the letter B in the serving board. And I heard from another maker, a group of makers. I forgot where I got this product from. They're like, so the thing with epoxy, right, is it takes a long time to set up sometimes. Like you can't, it's not like an hour later you can sand it. It's like a next day thing. And I'm like, I just want to fill this really quick. Like, I'm going to use this stuff. So I got recommended this certain brand from Amazon, and it was pretty cheap. I don't remember exactly, but like it just came in a small bottle like this big, and it was like $20. So I read the instructions on how to mix it. I mixed it properly, I think, but I did the best I could. I put in my black pigment because I wanted black epoxy inlay look. And so it's supposed to set up in like it's like CA glue, really, with accelerator. It's supposed to set up in like a half an hour, and you're supposed to be able to sand it. I was like, okay, let's try this stuff for the first time. Probably should have tested it a sample before putting it on the real thing, but
Oh no.
Who's got time for that?
who's got time for that, right? And so it looks nice and black. I've got it all mixed up. I pour it in there. I come back like a half an hour later, and it is like opaque white when it was black when I poured it in there, like as black as Duffy's shirt. And I was like, what in the world happened? So I got reading the bottle a little bit more, and it says that it cures in an opaque white. So somehow, it just completely disregarded the pigment I put in there, the black pigment, and says, I'm turning it white anyways.
So you'd think it'd go gray. That's really interesting.
Yeah. And so I wish I had it close here to show you, but yeah, so now I've got this nasty looking off-white in this is actually this, it was mahogany.
Oh no.
So yeah, so the wood that I was putting it in was, and this was a personal project, but the wood I was putting it in was my parents bought me a bunch of salvaged, I forgot what kind. There's so many different kinds of mahogany, but it was from the Florida Keys when they were down there when Hurricane Irma came through, and this guy salvaged a bunch, and my parents just bought a bunch for cheap. This was like 6 years ago. I had a stockpile of it, and so I was using that wood to put bird, a big B in the middle of the serving board, and yeah, so
Yes,
I just left it.
Yeah, I have a similar.
Is there enough material that you can plane it down and do it
No,
again?
I made it too deep.
Oh,
Yeah.
ouch.
Yeah, I too had searched on a journey for an epoxy that was somewhere between CA glue and like your regular epoxy, and this is the actual name. Big Bong is the name. It's all continuous. It's some like Chinese name. It comes already colored black, but it comes in the like little cartridge thing, if you've seen those, where it's like 50 milliliters and it's two tubes next to each other, and then you have like the little mixer nozzle that it forces it through.
Yeah.
And it does not work well for filling voids or cracks. Like if you were doing something that was like wider than a quarter of inch, maybe, but the consistency was not enough to like just have trouble with like bubbles and all of that stuff. Like the amount of time that it takes to cure it just doesn't allow for that stuff to get out of the epoxies. So yeah, I too have made attempts at something that was faster and to no avail.
It's all right. I thought about setting it back. I don't know if I could get it realigned. I probably could do it. Like one of the strategies I thought about is like carving that, just running that tool path again, and and carving that epoxy out of there. But I don't know.
Even if you're a little offset, then it becomes like a little accent color.
like a shadow.
Yeah, a reverse shadow.
Yeah, maybe, but I was like, yeah, I just kind of set it to the side. It's still in that state in the shop. So,
What's the dimensions of it?
it was like 16 by 10, somewhere in there, three quarters thick.
Oh, so just hollow it out and make it a tray. You'd be good to go.
Yeah, I could just make it. Yeah.
Cut out the whole section and inlay another piece.
Right.
So then the mahogany is just the frame, unfortunately.
You could do that though. Think about this. Now we're getting somewhere. You pocket out, right? Like a tray, but you inlay another color. Like the mahogany's, kind of looks, this is kind of a, let's just say red. It kind of looks a lot like cherry, a little. Yeah, similar.
Closer to rosewood.
Yeah. So maybe if you did like walnuts, it would be, you could create almost a mahogany border around your walnut inlay. You could do something cool with it, but
you go bright, like a bright bird's eye white maple, and then you do your epoxy in blue, and then you could have a red, white, and blue, bird serving tray.
Bring it out for the 4th of July.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, in my shop this week, the only thing that went wrong was with my threaded inserts. That kit I had bought some heavy grade stainless steel threaded inserts. They were not. Got them. I looked at them like, this doesn't look quite right. They look too shiny. Started putting them in there. They immediately fell apart. They were just zinc plated crap. So unfortunately, because I'm filming the video and because I'm tired of waiting for the CNC and getting it all done, I was like, I need to get this done now. So I ended up like calling a couple places, and I ended up finding a furniture guy. There's nowhere that sells stainless threaded inserts that I can find locally. Like you can only find them online. And so I finally found a furniture maker close to me that had some. And I was like, hey man, can I just buy 10 off of you? And he was like, yeah, I've got a stockpile. So, which was nice of him. So I went and got those and was able to finish up the board or the section. So without having to wait a few days for Amazon to deliver. But
so were they crappy because it was just like the normal steel instead of stainless, or was it crappy just because of like tolerancing and dimensions?
It was crappy because of the normal steel. It was the soft crap steel that they then used zinc plated
Chinesium.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I ran into
so
that before.
The first time I tried to screw it into the even in the plywood, it just started stripping immediately.
God, that
I
reminds
don't
me
know
of
what
one time I
people
was
use
putting
that
an
stuff
apron
for.
on a bench, and I had those little like angle black brackets, and the screws that came with them, the heads popped off. I had like 7 or 8 heads that popped off, and I was just so pissed. So annoying.
Yep, I've had too many of that happen in my lifetime that now I'm just like, I order separate stainless steel stuff from everything, so I can't stand the cheap junk.
I was building a table. This was several years ago, but it reminded me. I ran into that same problem. I bought threaded inserts from it was like Lowe's or Home Depot, and I was trying to get. So this was a custom commission, and they wanted the tables. It was a small coffee table, but they wanted that the legs removable. So I went through a bunch of different ideas on how to make the legs easily removable, and one of the ways was threaded inserts. And I could not find for the life of me a quality threaded insert. Like I said, this was 5 years ago. I didn't know what I was doing. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to unless you specify order a high grade steel because, they're all junk. Well, speaking of junk.
The price is wrong, bitch.
So what you're selling this week? So this week for me in this section, I have nothing. I spent a lovely weekend off from markets. I went to the beach. My wife and I were actually supposed to go fishing on the ocean, but the swells were over 10 feet, so they canceled. So we ended up just spending a nice weekend exploring the shops and walking the shore. But it was still a great weekend. It was beautiful weather, mid-70s on the beach, which is perfect here. So
awesome.
Yeah. So no markets. It was a nice week off.
How far do you live from the water?
About an hour and a half.
Okay.
So yeah, not far. Not far enough or not close enough that I can go every day. I want to. I'd love to. But yeah, nice that we try and go at least once a month. So.
You pick up shells and stuff on the beach to use for crafts or anything like that?
I do quite regularly. So there's this place is about 3 hours north of us. It's called Westport, Washington. They regularly have sand dollars that wash ashore in full-size non-broken sand dollars, which is very rare in the Pacific, if you know anything about the Pacific, because it breaks everything. And so this one area is where I guess all the sand dollars breed, and then they all get washed ashore once they die. And so I collect those by the hundreds, take them home, bleach them, dry them, and then I use watercolor paint to paint them. And so that it just a solid color, and then I put them in my laser, and it just takes off that coat of paint, and so I can do a basically laser engrave the sand dollar with a logo or something, and I sell those as magnets at my beach store. So it's I think the time is the most. It takes a couple of fun hours of walking the beach, a couple hours of prep, and then do it. And I sell them for $15 a piece at the store, so it's a good racket. So
I think it's sweet.
But will the sand dollar CNC? That's the question.
I had the thought you need to send me some sand dollars.
Gladly.
And
I've got plenty.
If I could make, I don't know, but
that would be an interesting challenge because they're hollow. So
yeah, so is a mannequin.
That's true.
Not with that attitude.
We'll talk offline, and we can. I'll send you some sand dollars.
Sweet. Let's do it.
Yeah. So that was my weekend. Alex, did you sell anything this weekend?
Yes, I did. So I had my normal little farmer's market that I did. It was about average for me. And then the swim meet this week, it was only like a half size meet, so it was selling like half as much, which is what I expected. It's like half as many people there, so that ended up about what I thought. And we had a storm that was rolling through, so we were like trying to pack stuff up because they had the last 5 events that were like relays or whatever they didn't end up doing because they had the storm that was rolling in because of it. So I was trying to like get my stuff packed up so we didn't get caught outside. Because I was like, I mean, with the 3D prints, it's like it's fine if they get wet, but it's just annoying to do all of that stuff in the rain, trying to tear everything down and get it all put away and whatnot. So I actually had my mother-in-law had wanted me to make it was like a Darth Vader, like on the toilet reading a newspaper. And so she wanted me to make one for her because her, like, I can't remember if her brother-in-law, like, prints at a newspaper shop. So she wanted him, like, because it had the newspaper, like, she wanted that. And usually when I have something like that's, like, super detailed, it's like, I always do, too, just in case, like, one has an issue or whatever. Plus, like, the second one does not add nearly as much time because you have so much time spent on filament changes. So I just brought the other one along just as like a fun little attraction thing, but I actually had someone buy that one. So I was like, oh, okay. It's like I could actually sell that. So that worked out. So that was an interesting one that I did not expect to actually sell. So
Poop jokes sell really well.
yeah, poop jokes, fart jokes, potty
Everybody
humor in
loves,
general.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody loves a good poop joke.
Yeah. So Alex, funny enough, I'm going to be dealing with that this weekend, I think, because it's so it's 92 and sunny right now, but this weekend it's supposed to be 60 and raining. So it's going to be such a fun market this weekend.
Yeah, I looked at the weather in my upcoming week. Like, we have a lot of rain in the forecast, but it's most of it's like morning rains, which is kind of odd for us. Because it's usually evening thunderstorms, but that should actually cool it off and make for a decent day at the farmers market this week. So it's supposed to be like in the 70s this week for our farmers market. So hopefully it'll be doing well.
Yeah. Andy, anything in this segment for you?
I have nothing physical that I've sold this weekend.
Did you sell your soul?
I did. I've done that to YouTube many times.
Oh, okay. So you got the reverse mortgage of whatever that is.
Yeah. No. I do have an outstanding, the Charizard and Going Merry that I made for. Well, these people the people listening don't know that I made that, but I made a giant Charizard, 4-foot Charizard, and a 4-foot Going Merry layered artwork for a local comic shop. And I thought about doing this when I was making those, but now they want, in the same style, they want the name of their store to go up there as well. Because what they're doing is people that are like, they're taking pictures in front of them, but there's no reference to where the picture is taken. So that's on my list to do this week.
So is it kind of like a layered chunky design, or did you smooth it out afterwards?
No, it's a layered chunky design.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's got lights on the back. It's really cool. There's a YouTube video about it. You should go watch.
Yeah, it's backlit. So
yeah,
it's been a big hit.
YouTube a bunch.
Well, get on there, Alex. Come on.
I should.
All right. Well, speaking of watching things. All right, and what you're watching this section. So Andy, how this section works is we'll each shout out a couple of makers. We go one by one, round robin style. So my first one.
God
this
damn
week
it! You stole it from me again. You bastard! Oh.
He can see what I'm stealing because it's in our notes, and apparently I entered my notes first this week, so this is on you, Alex.
I'm gonna look up time spans because It's a Google Doc, so we see all the things.
Yeah, it's a shared Google Doc.
Yeah.
So, Art and Airplanes created a gorgeous matriarch called the Matriarch 30-inch diameter wall art piece. It is of an African elephant on the tundra, made from maple, mango, ebony, and century-old barnwood. And this thing is, we've seen her work before on the show. It is absolutely incredible. I'm going to show it up on the camera, and I need to get my thing so I can see where I am here.
Oh,
but you can just see how incredibly detailed this is. The
impressive thing is with the barnwood, they utilize that to get the texture on the elephant when it's up close. So it is absolutely incredible. Yeah, it adds an extra layer of texture that's just really phenomenal. And
she's a scroll saw artist, and it is just one of the best out there.
And the little next to it to the left, there's a tree and some birds that she would burn those in there, and the amount of detail that is in that tree, because it's kind of the not like the leaves, which is kind of like the mostly the branches and whatnot. Very, very detailed, and it's very impressive to get that level of detail on that without burning everything.
But look at the background there is in a star pattern in the marquetry.
Yeah, it's got a mosaic back there. If you would read my notes, Duffy, it's got a mosaic in there.
Yeah. So, gorgeous piece. So we're going to skip Alex because that was his first one too. Andy, What about you?
Okay, so I got a couple here. We'll go with the first one, the similar one here. Have you all seen the Forged Fox?
I don't know if
And
I
the
have.
work
That sounds
she
really
does?
familiar.
So check this out. So this is all laser and layered.
Oh, nice.
And so I think she's out in LA area, and her whole business is making retirement signs for first responders. And so that is all laser work, like layered, really fine detail. Like if
Would you say it was again?
the
name?
forged fox. Focus. Anyways, those are patches. Aren't those cool? I mean, it's all wood and acrylic.
Yeah.
Some amazing work. Like, check this out. Check that one out. This doesn't do it justice, but yeah. So check that out.
We'll put it up in the show notes.
Yeah, incredible layered CNC. She mainly uses a thunder laser and, of course, just traditional woodworking tools. Yeah, I've wanted to get her on my show a couple times, but I don't know. I don't have any connections. It would just be a cold call.
Hey, sometimes that works. I've done that.
It's true.
So, Alex, since we skipped your first one, do you want to go with your second one? You
I
can
guess.
start the next round. I guess.
So the one that I have, it is from Calypso Glass Co. So what they did, if you enjoy watching SpongeBob like I do, there's one scene where Patrick the Starfish is like flying naked, and he has a flag clenched in his butt cheeks that he's holding, that has a little banner behind it. And so they recreated this image in stained glass. And since the flag that is on that little pole is white, like you can write little messages on there. So it's just kind of fun where it's just like pulled from a scene, but also like it just seamlessly works well with using a dry erase marker to like write notes on there. So that was just a really fun piece that I enjoyed seeing.
That is really cool. My next one is North Country Craft. She's a game maker out of Minnesota. Does lots of laser wooden games, like cribbage boards are one of her mainstays. But she just released a Mancala board that she's producing for wholesale and markets. But she calls it rock inspired. And so it's the same normal size Mancala board, but all of the pawns or the spaces on the board are natural shaped, that kind of like shapes of rocks that work well, because she also uses black polished stone, river stones as the rocks or pieces for the Mancala board. They look really nice, but a good example of making something look very high end, but then still being able to mass produce it for wholesale and sales. So I was really impressed with that.
I have not seen that game before.
Mancala?
Yes. So that's new for me. Looks like
Next
fun.
time we're together, I'll bring a board. We'll play.
I'll wear my tracksuit for it.
Okay. Andy, what about you?
So, actually, I saw this one shared. Vectric reshared this on their page. That's how I originally found this person. But Naughty Bits Machine. Love the name, by the way.
Is that with a K?
It is Naughty Bits. The one that recently they completed recently is this Porsche. Let's call it a plaque or sign. Look at that.
Oh yeah, the emblem.
The emblem.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, so all CNC work, a bunch of different species, and really like a lot of different strategy too. Like if you look at like the texturing, so that texturing is actually like a toolpath, the toolpath texture.
Oh yeah.
So they did a pocket just with that. There it goes, it focused, and then the rest of
That's
it's
cool.
inlaid, and they did really really nice work. Um, and this looks like it. They said it was a commission, and it was heading off to. They're sending it off to somebody. So fantastic. There's
I wonder.
a full picture of it. Yeah.
I wonder if they're using like a wire brush or maybe even hitting it with like a sandblaster to get all the fuzzies and everything.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, to post process it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. They said so the dimensions are 35 and a half inches tall by an inch and 3/4 thick. So that's massive.
It's huge. Yeah, it's
Use that as
definitely
an
a
actual
cool
shield.
piece for a Porsche lover. Yeah.
Yeah, so they used Corina. You ever heard of Corina wood?
Mm-mm.
I have not.
Bloodwood and walnuts. Yeah, finished using Rubio Monocoat.
Awesome.
Nice work.
Yeah.
Carina wood
Alex?
is a used a lot in guitars. So I'm sure a bunch of guitar makers just buy the entire inventory of that. That's why we never see it.
Yeah, never heard of it.
Let's see. Next one I've got is Sepulveda 41, Sepulveda 41. So they made this kind of three-dimensional manta ray with essentially tribal patterns on it. That's really, really cool. And what I also really like about it is that the tail of this manta ray, it's metal, and that feeds into the base that holds this entire thing up. So I just thought that, like, especially with that tail, like the clever usage of that to integrate it into basically the way to hold that piece up to be displayed. Like I love that amount of design that goes into like making something look so natural and incorporate it into the actual piece that they made. So I really like that one.
Awesome. My last one is from the Wood Carving Man. He has been posting reels ongoing now for a few months of him hand carving Pokemon the whole time. And so he just did a reel of hand carving a Snorlax and then wood burning all the little accent colors and everything in it, and then dyed the wood for the fur. But they're entertaining reels, but also just I love Snorlax is one of my favorite Pokemon because he takes naps and eats snacks all day. So great life.
Amen.
He blocks, was it Route 31 or something like that?
Something like that. Andy, do you have any more to shout out?
I had another one, just kind of more general, but are you guys familiar with Steve Makes Everything?
Yes.
So Steve, great guy, and he's been prolific at YouTube the last year. And so if you're interested in lasers, I think he does a lot of reviews, but he also does like some interesting techniques. Just shout out Steve. I don't have anything specific. He is only active on YouTube, not Instagram.
Mm.
But check out his YouTube channel. He's been pumping videos out left and right.
Perfect. Alex, any more from you?
Are you going to steal them?
No, I did my 3.
Last one, design is blank. So I don't know when he made this, but he had a reel of him using it recently. So he like pulled together a bunch of PVC to put onto his leaf blower. It's like I don't know if it's like 4 or 6 inch PVC that goes like the length from the ground all the way up to his gutters. And it has the little attachment on the top to kind of like point it down to just clean out his gutters. So more of a functional thing, but I was like, oh my gosh, that is so smart. I love it. It's like, it's one of the things that I just wouldn't think of to like put together and use for a functional purpose. So that one was a good use of PVC.
Absolutely. Well then, why don't we move on to tonight's main topic, starting a CNC side hustle. All right. So Andy wanted to have you on because our topic tonight is starting a CNC side hustle, and you literally teach a course called the CNC side hustle. And, you know, have made a business about teaching people how to use their CNC and how to be an entrepreneur around it. So I guess I just want to kind of get started with asking you, first of all, a little bit, we know your turf management history, but how did you get into CNC woodworking, and then how did that become an entrepreneur job for you?
Yeah. I shared a little bit earlier, but a little more specifically, I started woodworking, just DIY. Let's just call it DIY woodworking. A lot of pocket holes and different things, and I was doing a lot of custom builds, commission builds, and let's like 2017, and I guess the efficiency in me. Well, so scalability is something that I've always like. How do I scale this? How do I make this bigger? I didn't want to just create a job for myself, and I wanted to create something, you know, bigger than that. And so I think, you know, CNC entered my thought or arena when I saw it on YouTube, and combining it with that, or like, okay, so how do I make more? How do I scale this? How do I, you know, everybody, or one of the common things that people say about CNC is it's like an extra employee in the shop. And so I had that idea. And so I bought, I was like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. 2018, 8 years ago, the CNC scene looked completely different than it looks today. There was not many options on the market. And so I unknowingly picked a good one back then, because I didn't know anything. And so I picked I bought a Shapeoko 3 XXL back at the day. It was belt driven. And so that's kind of how it entered. And so what I started doing with it, and really where I kind of cut my teeth, I guess, in the CNC world and getting started was wholesale and batching things out. And the CNC was really good at that. And in hindsight, I did things with a belt driven Shapeoko 3 that had never been done before. Like, people weren't batching things out with a Shapeoko 3, like, and they weren't making 50 of something and selling it. So again, I was kind of before my time, right? And unknowingly, this was just a very organic way. And so that's kind of how it all started. And it just snowballed from there. You know, I had clients from, one of my clients was Harp Design Co., which was, they're actually out of business now. They went out of business a couple of years ago. But Harp Design Co. was the furniture maker for Chip and Joanna Gaines. So if you watch Chip and Joanna Gaines, whatever the name of their show is, their original show, Clint Harp was the guy they went to when they needed a table built or when they needed something built. Clint kind of rode those coattails and opened his own shop and started selling things in Waco, Texas. But he also sourced things from other makers in the U.S. And so we sold a bunch of trays and designed a bunch of different things for them. Yeah, it just kind of took off. Like I just, I literally, Alex, I know, Duffy, you're very familiar with the things that I teach and the things that I say. And I teach, I share how that all happened and how to repeat it. And I spend my time now thinking about those things and how can I help other people? So, yeah, so that's kind of how it all started.
You very quickly, too, when you had your CNC and were doing things, you quickly pivoted on YouTube and started doing CNC videos, because it wasn't very long after you got yours. I'd say it was end of 2019, mid 2020, somewhere in there, where I first saw a video of you talking about using a CNC to mass produce things. And that's what entered CNC into my vernacular and world of how I was like, oh, I could batch out all my cribbage boards with this, and this would be so much easier. And so I definitely know that you again, I've said OG on as far as YouTube, but you were definitely, as you were saying, doing things that people weren't, which was especially with a desktop unit, manufacturing with a desktop unit. Most people were in a lot of the companies were advertising them as, just do a home project, make a sign at home, things like that, not actually
like hobby stuff,
manufacturing. Yeah.
So
and I remember that.
What was the workspace on that unit that you had? The original one?
It was an odd. They had an odd dimension. It was like 33 inches by 33 inches.
Okay, so a respectable size.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I actually asked Shapeoko, the people at Carbide 3D, and I was like, "Why was it 33 by 33?" And they're like, they couldn't tell me. They're like, "That's just what it always was." Like you couldn't make it 32 or.
I wonder if it was just like manufacturing, like that's the size of the bar they got or something,
Yeah. There was some limitation in there that it's like, this is the dimension, but it wasn't thought out. Like we're going to set the dimensions of this machine are, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think you hinted at it a little bit, like with, I started YouTube, February. Well, actually I started my channel, if you go back and look, November of 2019, but I didn't post a video until February of 2020. This was literally right before COVID, like right before. And it was a very cringe-worthy video. I think it was like a shop tour with my phone. I actually filmed my first 30. It is. I filmed the first 30, like 32 videos on my YouTube channel with my cell phone. So
so the funny thing is, I remember when you got a different camera, because I remember it was very, very obvious.
So I started making DIY content though, like home projects, renovations, and so what happened? And I tried to repeat this and I can't. But what specifically happened, and I hope some people get mad at me for this, but some people are like, okay, cool. Good for you. So the timing couldn't have been any better. I had if you go back on my channel and look at my most viewed videos, there's a DIY stair video where I remodeled the stairs in my house with LED lights. That video almost has 9 million views now. And I posted that video in October of 2020. So this was I was in YouTube for about 6 months. This was probably one of the first, probably right when I switched cameras. This is what happened. No, that's not why this happened. But so what was really interesting though is, and if you're a content creator, something that's overlooked is your most recent upload, one of the biggest factors of affecting your most recent upload is the upload right before it. And because how someone feels, or how someone, whether they got value, or whether it, like, there's a lot of different factors. I'm not saying this is the only one, but that is one of the driving factors. Like, if they really enjoyed a video, people are going to come back and watch another one. And so something that was really interesting that happened is, and you can go back on my channel and look at the exact, well, actually you can't see it this way, because so I posted that stair video in the first week of October, maybe mid-October. It did nothing for, it did the normal thing for until the first week of December. So for 2 months, it just sat there, did nothing. And all of a sudden, I for unexplained reasons, it went viral. Literally, when I was up, it was the craziest thing. When I was up or swiping up to refresh my phone, like on the YouTube Studio app, to look at the views, like I would upload it, and as fast as it would refresh, it'd be another 10,000 views. It was wild. Like, it's never repeated. I've never had it happen again. But a true viral moment, right? Power of the algorithm. Ever since then, it's worked against me, but but I share that because if you look, the video that I posted right after, not that video, but the video I posted right after that video started taking off was a CNC video. Was one of the first few CNC videos that I put up. And so there was, we could go into deep talk about that, but I do feel like that kind of, well, that stair video alone kind of thrusted my channel into the spotlight, right? I got monetized overnight. I was there scraping, trying to get the watch hours and trying to get the subscribers. And I was like grinding out every subscriber. And then all of a sudden, like the switch flipped and it just took off. And so, I share all that because I was doing DIY content and I did pivot eventually into CNC only. And that came from a conversation. It was not there's a few you can look back on. I look back on the last 6 years on YouTube, 6.5 years on YouTube. And there's a couple defining moments and a couple decisions that I made that were good. I made a lot of bad ones, but kind of a couple pivotal ones and pivoting, a couple pivotal ones. And one of them came from a conversation from Josh, my friend Josh, who worked for Bob. I don't know if you ever, Josh doesn't, not anymore, but Josh had worked for I Like to Make Stuff for a long time. And became a friend, and we were actually fishing with our kids because they had just created fishing lures. Like they created a 3D printed mold and then poured silicone into it. And I was like, hey, let's go test those out after work. And so we were fishing with our kids, and I was talking to Bob about YouTube, and he asked me a question, and I hope someone listening thinks about this, and it changes their course like it changed mine. He said, "You're making DIY content. What makes you different than every other white guy with a beard on YouTube making DIY content?" And I was like, at first I was like, I mean, you can be offended a little bit, but
Right.
But that's really what solidified me of going, like, of finding my lane, finding my niche. And this doesn't apply just to YouTube. This applies to making things. This applies to CNC, applies to woodworking. Like, what do you want to be known for? Something that always sticks out to, or I always remind myself and tell everybody is if you try to appeal to everyone, you'll end up appealing to no one. And I think be proud of what makes you different. The very thing that you're probably resisting is the very thing that you could be known for if you want to be, right? Everybody has different goals and ambitions, but yeah, so that's how I got into creating CNC content.
So you're saying I need to lean into the UFO and Sasquatch stuff more.
Dude, it is okay. One of the most
and I'll lean into the tracksuit stuff more.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it. One of the most mind-bending things, okay, like, and this is so counterintuitive, so counter-human, is like, especially when YouTube came along and they gave everybody a platform, right? Like, before YouTube, everybody didn't have a platform, but there was gatekeepers. But now it's like everybody has a platform, and anybody can. So, yeah, like there are 10,000 people out there that love UFOs and Sasquatch. There's more than that. How many people does it really take? Like,
yeah,
if you look at it, like you look at businesses in general, it's really interesting. I'm kind of getting off topic here, but this is side hustle related. But look at businesses let's just say businesses in general, businesses in the US. The easy ones, like the big ones that we're familiar with, like let's say Google or Facebook or like these big companies, right? But like that, they're in the minority as far as if you look at all companies. Most companies in the US are very niche in comparison. And it doesn't take a giant market to generate a lot of revenue. Like, I would rather have 1,000 passionate fans that would be willing to, I don't know, do anything, because they loved what I did. I don't want them to don't love me. Just love what I do. Don't love me. I don't want to. Yeah, don't come for me. No, but you get the idea. Like, I would rather have 1,000 passionate fans than have 10,000 or 1 million or 10 million, passive fans that could take it or leave it. But we're drawn to the big spectacles of, look at Mr. Beast or look at all these different things. Another interesting stat. Did you know that 90% of the views of all views on YouTube go to the top 1%, like the 1% largest 1%, however you say that, channels. So 90% is going to 1% of channels on YouTube, and 99% of all other channels are fighting over 10%.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But those views trickle down to the other channels, right?
Right.
Yeah. Trickle down economics. This is how it works.
Yeah. So, anyways.
All right. Well, getting back a little into economics, to starting a side hustle, especially around CNC. Starting at one today versus, you built it kind of in the right time during COVID. Do you think it's harder or easier to start one today, as far as, because there's definitely plus and minuses here, right? There's a lot more machines. Negatives, there's a lot more people that have machines now. Like, where do you think the starting this today is?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. There's definitely pros and cons. And I think this ties back into what we were just talking about. The I think, to answer your question directly, I think it's probably the same. Pros and cons probably outweigh each other because there was pros and cons back then as well. And there are more machines, but just because you have a machine doesn't mean you can make and sell things. There are, I know there are tens of thousands of CNCs that'll be sold this year alone in the US or in North America. And one of the signs that I look at is there are in the last how many different companies, new companies or companies have reestablished themselves like CNC manufacturers in the last 5 years. You know, like I think Onefinity launched 5 years ago. Only 5 years ago. You know, Shapeoko's been around for a long time. CNC Labs, they've been around for a long time, but they really didn't make their footprint until, like, they really didn't make an impact until the long mill did fine. Don't get me wrong. But they really made a splash with the alt mill. And so there's these companies that are heavily investing into the market. They're selling machines. Where my company comes in is, like, we all know that how steep the learning curve is for the average person getting into CNC. And so one of the things I'm passionate about, I don't know why I'm passionate about it. I don't know. I don't have to have a reason, I guess, but like there are thousands, tens of thousands of people that buy CNC machines and don't know how to use them. They're just sitting in garages. You know?
I can't tell you how many people last year when I was in Vegas at the Next Wave booth came up and said, "Oh yeah, I bought one from you guys last year. I just haven't used it yet." So it's just that barrier to get started. They don't know what to do, how to get. They don't have a handheld to hold them.
And so, so to get started, to start a side hustle though, to get started on a side hustle, I think there's plenty of room still. I think you need to be, I think you need to have a strategy, and that strategy needs to be around a niche. And I think you need to, I think one of the best ways to get started today is to figure out what you're passionate about, like what you're interested in. If you're interested in guns, if you're interested in Sasquatch, if you're interested in cars, it doesn't matter what it is. Laser focus in on that and start creating some stuff, creating projects that you like and that you could use. And I think that is the greatest launching pad to get started. That's not where you just stay. You don't have to stay there, but you do have to get traction somewhere. And if you make something that you're interested in, there's two things happen. Oh, there's so many caveats. So many caveats. If you make something that you're interested in, one, you probably know other people that are interested in the same thing. Probably. Two, you know it better than anything else. So you're not going into something blind where you're guessing, right? So between those two things, like, I'm not saying that's where you stay, but getting started there to get traction, to build momentum, I don't know of a better place.
Cool. Alex, do you have questions?
I do. So with that, would you say, because obviously there's the in-person versus selling online, regardless of if that's on your platform or a third-party marketplace site, because obviously when you've got that connection to other people. It's how do you find those people? Because sometimes they'll be right there as like neighbors or in your community. They may not be. Because like, for example, like I'm in a town of like 10,000 people. So there's not quite as much of those people directly there as like, you know, a mega city or whatnot, which,
Right.
you know, they each have their pros and cons. You know, there's less competition where I am, but not nearly as many people for customers. So where with knowing like something that someone is passionate about making, where do you see them like what would you say they should weigh on doing something in person versus online, as they're getting started? Because obviously there's some products that do well in one or the other, or maybe both.
Yeah. So the first thing that pops in my mind is, what are your goals? Um, because your actions, you should do what leads you to those goals, right? And I know that's hard for a lot of people because they're like, I don't know what my goal is. I just want to make money. Well, I think just make it going one step further. Like, you know, do you want to just pay off your machine, or do you want to pay for your hobby? Or that's exactly why I just created our brand new course that's coming out is CNC Fun Money. Do you just want to create some fun money? Because there's a prescription for that where you could do just that. Versus, do you want to, um, um, do you want to build a business out of it? Do you want to scale it? And so, if someone just wants to make fun money, there is no reason in my mind to, and again, fun money, let's just say they want to make under $5,000, a year. This is literally just something to pay for their hobby, to keep it going, where they don't have to justify the cost of their hobby, right? It's a paid for hobby. There's no reason to have a website. There's no reason to have an Etsy store. You can do that locally. Now, again, there's going to be a percentage where they live in a small town. They're like, Andy, there's no way I can do that. I get that. But for most people, you can sell $5,000 locally a year. Maybe not your direct town, but let's say your county or something like that. Like, yeah. So selling online is really difficult. I don't recommend selling on Etsy. I can go into that if that's a follow up question, but if that would be of interest. But you're right, Alex. Like, it's kind of like it's just matchmaking, right? Like, how do I match my product to a person? And locally, that is done easier by local connections, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's neighbors, whether it's local businesses. Making stuff for local businesses. Alex Duffey's a great. I mean, I've heard of. I know of all his local business ventures, and I know he's in a little bit bigger city, a little bit, but
A little bit bigger than New York.
a little bit bigger, yeah. If there are a couple people out there in the space that'll recommend Etsy, just throw it on Etsy. Just throw it on Etsy. I can't tell you how many disheartened people I've talked to after they bought their CNC. They've created products that they were proud of. They throw it up on Etsy, and they use like best practices, like long tail keyword research, good photos, good descriptions, like all these things. Like they're not just taking like random shot, like they're putting effort into it. And crickets, like nothing happens. I can't tell you how. I've talked to, I mean, more than 20 people in the last little bit of like that have done that, and they get discouraged, and they're like, well, I'm not gonna, no one wants what I make. They don't take it as like that was an Etsy problem. They take it as a personal, like, oh, crap, I created something, put it out there and got rejected. No one likes rejection. And one place that is saturated is Etsy. Two things can happen on Etsy. Only two things. One, you don't sell anything. Two, let's say, or two extremes on Etsy. One, you don't sell anything. Two, you get a booming business on Etsy. And then there's about 100 other, call them whatever you want, fill in the blank. There's about 100 other people that copy what you just made. And now you have to go and innovate again and create, and it's just a loop. Now you put something else out there on the internet, like on Etsy. Let's say it does well again. Well, there's going to be 100 more people that replicate what you make. And so those are the two best and worst case scenario, I guess, best, worst case scenarios. And that's just not a game I can win at. Like I have sold about $25,000 on Etsy. And between fees and just the amount of work that we put into it, I don't know, just, yeah. Hopefully that answers your question. So here's another thing. Like, I think of the YouTube. Okay, so Etsy's controlled by an algorithm, right? Okay. And all it's trying to do is match shoppers to products. That's literally all it's trying to do. Like, shoppers come in on the front end. You know, us makers put stuff up on the back end, and their algorithm is just trying to match those things up to where people, because the better they do that, the more matches they make, the more Etsy makes. Well, guess what YouTube does? YouTube is literally doing the same thing, except they're matching videos to an audience. And the better they do at that, the better job they do, the more ads, or the more time people spend on their platform, the more ads they can serve up, the more ads they can sell, the more money Google makes. So that's the game, the algorithm game we're playing. Facebook's the same way. They're all the same way.
Yeah, because you did in that big of an environment, you did a catalyst in order to basically keep on playing in that game, like you had mentioned.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's a tough tough game to play.
Going to rapid fire just a couple of things at you. First of all,
rapid fire.
Yeah, I'm stealing your segment here.
Let's do it.
Do you where's my notes here? Here we go. Good resources to get started. Do you have a few that you can recommend? And yes, this is a good way to plug your own.
I mean, the best place to start is andybirdbuilds.com. I hope, I really care about other people's success. And I hope that comes across. Like, I'm not saying I make the best products out there. There's a lot of other great resources. But one thing that I can say about my team is that we are invested heavily into seeing people succeed. And I think that's andybirdbuilds.com is a great place to start. I have hundreds of videos that you can go watch my entire journey on YouTube. Another place I would say is Put me on the spot. I think some people don't like the British accent, but Vectric does make good videos, helpful videos. So software is
And
one. Go ahead.
the British accent is the best part.
I like it personally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've heard plenty of guys say, "Well, you aren't from around here, are you?" I've actually heard that. But anyways, yeah, I know. Vectric makes great videos. They make a great product. You know, a lot of people complain about the price of Vectric, but you do pay what you get for it, or pay for what you
Get what you pay for.
Thanks. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Words are hard. And I would, if you're gonna, it's worth the investment. Yeah. Absolutely. And one more place, another great place to start, based on my personal experience. I love the Shapeoko, and not just the machine, but Carbide 3D is a great company. That they've been in it for the long haul as well. They're heavily invested in just like there's a lot of great companies out there. It's not the only one, but they are extremely beginner friendly, and they're kind of like the app, take it or leave it, kind of like the Apple of CNC, the Apple ecosystem, because everything is vertically integrated. Like they make the machine, they make their own software, they make it's all made with them. So there's only, if something breaks, pros and cons, but there's only one phone call to make, and they know how it all interacts together. Where I've seen people have to get bounced around between other companies. It's a machine problem. No, it's a software problem. No, it's a controller problem. And so you don't have that with Shapeoko. There are downsides too, but those are my resources.
Okay. 3 things you recommend any new CNCer or CNC side hustle to have.
Big balls. Sorry. Can I say that?
Yes, you can.
It does take, how do you say
Grit?
Yeah. I think having a community mindset is vital. You can do it alone, don't get me wrong, but you will go so much further, so much faster when you genuinely get plugged in a community somewhere. Whether there's so many communities out there, and try to be helpful. And I think that's the best way to go. So grit, community, I don't know. What's the third one?
Can be an accessory. Can be something you bought that you recommend.
So I'm trying to think of. Oh, okay. Here's a good one. That's I didn't know. So the ability to change your speeds and feeds on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
Because depends on the machine and controller.
Correct.
And don't quote me on who can do it and who can't do it. I think most of all the major ones can do it now.
Yep.
But at one time, it was like set it and forget it. So like you couldn't decrease feeds by 10% or increase RPMs, or you'd have to stop the machine, start it over. It's so frustrating.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Alex, do you have anything else before we wrap up?
Yeah. When it comes to, because in my mind, when you've got materials that you're working with, you've kind of got easier, more homogeneous type materials, like your something that's more uniform, like various forms of plastics. I mean, plywood is, I mean, there's some variability there, but it got a little fairly consistent since it's a manufactured product. And
Like
then on the other
MDF?
end, you've got more, MDF,
Yeah.
those kind of
Yeah.
things. And then on the other end of the spectrum, something that's a little bit more difficult. I mean, like if you're doing hardwoods, like you had mentioned with like adjusting your speeds and feeds, like it's gonna be, there's some variability there sometimes. So what you make can be affected by the type of material. So I'm curious what you think about making stuff out of something that's a little bit more homogeneous, but easier to work with versus something that's a little bit more unique or has more aesthetic features to it, but is a little bit more difficult to work with.
Yeah. So for the person that's just getting started, definitely. So I used to be able, we used to be able to just recommend MDF. There's the negative on MDF is dusty, but it's easy to source. It used to be cheaper before COVID. Like it was really cheap, but it went up and it stayed up. So now like a sheet of MDF is like the same price as like a sheet of plywood. Um, yeah. Like a nice sheet of plywood, right? Like I think it's going to be different across the country, but like a 1/2 inch 4x8 sheet of MDF at Lowe's is like $60. So, but I would recommend starting with those, whether it's a cheaper plywood or some solid, stock, before you throw your rosewood up there and hit go. Uh, the thing about one of the hard parts, there's a lot of difficult parts, but one of the hard parts, just like traditional woodworking, like each wood, even though it's hardwood, is going to plane differently. It's going to if you take like a hard, I'm trying to think, like um, a white oak or something along those lines, compared to like a poplar, like they're going to have different cutting characteristics, right? Like you're going to cut them still, but you may cut them slower, you may cut them faster, you may and it's the same thing with CNC. Is there's just every time you put a different material up on the CNC, you're still cutting wood, but there could be slight differences. And so learning those as inexpensively as possible, whether through other people's mistakes or community or YouTube videos or however it is, like, yeah, definitely cut cheap materials first. Yeah.
Agreed completely. Don't full send in walnut the first thing you try and cut. Learn from my mistake.
You know how many times I see that though? Like we see it in our Discord community all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and everyone says, yeah, probably shouldn't have done my first cut in X. Like in
We
expensive
just get so
wood.
excited.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, with that, where is my next segment?
Good news, everyone.
So, just some quick news. We've got IWF in Atlanta. It's coming up August 25th and 28th.
I will be there.
We have... Oh, Andy's going to be there. That's exciting.
I will be there in the Vectric booth.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, and you're also going to be at the Vectric User Group meeting in Nashville, which is coming up in October.
I will be there as well.
Will you be sporting a British accent?
No, the reason they keep inviting me is because I don't have an accent. They're like, I'm like their American liaison. I'm joking. I have a great relationship with them. But yeah, need to work on my British
awesome.
accent.
I'm jealous. Well, you'll have to say hi to Becky and Todd for me. Yeah, because I won't. Sadly, I'm not making it to Veterans User Group because I'm going to be at Texas the week before, and I'm teaching a CNC class there. So make sure you find your tickets at the TexasWoodworkingShow.com. And I think that's it for news, unless, Alex, you had anything to add?
Nope.
Perfect. Andy, thank you so much for being here. For those who want to learn more about you, find your everything, where do they go? How do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so you can check me out on any social media platform at Andy Bird Builds. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all of them. I'm not on TikTok, but you can find everything, links to everything that we do at Andy Bird Builds at andybirdbuilds.com.
Awesome. And remember, if you want to support our show, go to patreon.com/Whatcha Makin show, and you can find our tiers and sign up for our Patreon there. You get our episodes out early and a quarterly call with just Alex and I. And until we see you guys again, remember that.
In case I don't see ya. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Good night, everybody.
See ya.
Night night. Don't drop your track saw.